Good evening, everyone. It's 6:03. Today is, I don't even know what today is, December 15th, 6:03. This is the Roswell regular meeting of the Roswell Planning and Zoning Commission. Let's see here. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Story.
Here.
Commissioner Daniel is absent. Commissioner Aguilar.
Here.
Commissioner Lassard.
Here.
Commissioner McCornack.
Here.
Commissioner Henderson.
Here.
Commissioner Lopez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's see here. I guess Commissioner Henderson's going to be doing a swearing in of the audience.
Yes, if you will all stand that are going to speak this evening, ask our guests if they're going to speak. We need to be sworn in. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under penalty or perjury? Say, I do. I do.
You may be seated. Thank you. We have the agenda in front of us for tonight's meeting. If anybody has any changes or whatever, or I will accept a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Agenda passes. Now we have the consideration of the minutes from the August 25th, 2020 Planning and Zoning Commission. I believe that is the last time we met, a long time ago. If anybody has any changes they would like to bring forth, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of August 25th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The minutes have passed. Now we move to the public hearing items, which is case number 20-015, 0C, a change zoning request. Let's see here. If I could have a motion to waive the reading of the finding of facts.
I'd like to make a motion of the waive the reading of the finding of the facts with respect to case 20-15.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to waive the reading of the finding of the facts for case 20-015. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So we will be now listening to this case 20-015. We have some people in the audience, Spanish-speaking people. Saul will be attempting to help you interpret for you of the proceedings that are going on. So if there's anyone in the audience in favor of case 20-15, please come up to the podium and state your name and address, please. Oh, there it gets.
All right, Mr. Chair, Plan Commission, my name is Joe Nebb, City Manager for the City of Roswell, 3102 Diamond A Drive, Roswell, New Mexico. We're actually the initiators of this request for the rezoning. If you look at in the packet, about half of that parcel that the city has just recently sold to the Aragon emulsion plant is that other half is zoned right now as an R3. The request and part of the negotiations within the sale of the property was to zone all of that property into an I2 and go through with the sale of the property. Within the agreement and the information that we did for the sale of the property, it included some buffering around the property, so trees around the property, so that there is a good buffer between the neighborhood and this property as well too. If you look at the property, it is along the rail access to the air center as well too, and so that was the reason for the sale. We ended up closing the what would be called Railroad or Wells Street That was closed as part of this as well. We'll be removing that road. Aragon will be replacing part of that road to feed the other industrial businesses on the east side of the track. But I'll stand for any questions, but I'm here to support the project and just make sure that you're understanding of what the relationship is with the city and the business for the sale of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions of Mr. Nebb while we have him up front?
I do have a question. So this is going to, the idea is for it to be zoned industrial, and if it gets approved, do we need to, does something, the wording or something to say that it has to have a certain amount of shrubbery or trees or?
You have that ability within that is what I would think, Mr. Chair, and I think the intent was that when we did the sale of the property, we made sure to include $60,000 worth of buffering of the trees and as far as that, I believe as the Plan Commission, you have the right to look at that and determine whether or not for that zoning adjustment that is adequate or not. I'm not sure if we have any pictures in there as far as what the plan was for where the trees would be located, but there'd be, I think it's in a written format within that purchase agreement as to what type of buffering is in there. And if you will recognize right now, the current property is not buffered as well. And so this is an improvement to that property, which we appreciate as well too. And so.
Yeah, we don't have anything, I mean, there's no way we could possibly deem whether that was adequate or not. I mean, we don't have anything for that. I think what, we would just have to rely on if this is passed would be, does it go to a building permit, Lewis, any type of site plan review, or does the plat come back to us for vacation of the road, or what's the next step for this?
There you go, it wouldn't stay on. Mr. Chairman and Commission, the next step would be, it would go to council first for ratification of this, whatever finding is tonight. And then the building permit, yes, will come along. The building permit is in our planning and zoning office already. There is already trees shown on their landscaping. Whatever the findings of the Planning and Zoning Commission, we could make sure if you do request that there's some sort of intensity, I don't know how we would quantify it, of either landscaping. I do know that during negotiations, and Mr. Nebb can correct me, there was discussion of a fence, but it was felt that the fence would be not as sightly as a natural barrier. And so the natural barrier was chosen. We have using natural barriers in other places, North Spring River, along the street with North Spring River Apartments. But the commission does have the pleasure to ask for a certain intensity of landscaping. And again, whatever finding here, it will be ratified by City Council.
Meredith, this being a zoning change, does it even go to council?
I would say that, go ahead, Meredith.
Chair, Commissioners, no, if it's voted on here and there's no appeal, then the ruling from the Planning and Zoning Commission is the final.
Okay, thank you. And I thought I remember reading something about the trees or something. Can you point out where that is so we can look at it and make sure we include that?
It should be in the contract part.
Chair, Commissioners, it's on page 13 of 32 under the post-closing covenants.
Okay, so it's not actually part of the case, it's a part of the purchase agreement.
Correct.
So we should probably, if we vote either way or in the motion, include that provision in there. Any
Chair,
other questions of Mr. Nebb?
Chair Story, let me say that the landscaping shall consist of cedar-type tree plantings, associated ground cover, and irrigation.
When I was skimming through this, I thought I remembered seeing something about a park or something of that sort. But I don't see it anymore. I think I saw it somewhere in the email, but I'm trying to find it.
Mr. Commissioner, there is a park across the street on the
Oh,
north
there
side.
is a
Across the
park.
street.
To the north.
Yeah, Mr.
Commission, have any other questions of Mr. Neb? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in favor of case 20-015? Anybody else? Do we have anybody online? Can they hear me? If you are online and you wish to speak in favor of case number 20-015, please unmute and do so. There being none, we will now ask for anybody in the audience wishing to speak against case number 20-015.
¿Alguien del público que guste hacer algún comentario en contra de este caso? ¿O a favor? No sé si escucharon de lo primero, a favor o en contra. No muerde. Haré lo posible para traducirles.
No, pues mi pregunta es
Si me da por favor su nombre y su dirección, por favor.
Mi nombre es Adán López, mi dirección es 47 East Wells. Y,
Abel López, 47 East Wells.
y pues mi pregunta es esta de que, pues si van a arrimar los tanques del Chapopote más para acá, porque pues yo aquí vivo enfrente y a veces se mira muchos vapores y a veces cuando el aire está del East, pues medio apesta ahí, ve. Y si los van a arrimar más para acá, si van a hacer eso, ampliar más hacia al lado de las casas, a la Martín, pues no, nosotros no estamos muy de acuerdo, porque pues por el apeste y los vapores que yo veo que salen de ahí de uno de los tanques.
Who do I just translate what he said?
Yeah, that's
in
fine.
general. Okay. His concern is he lives on wells, and when there's some steam and vapors that come up from the plant, as it is now, and when the wind is blowing east, all that smell goes towards pretty much on his property, and his concern right now is that if they're moving more tanks or adding tanks, I'm not sure what the proposed idea is, but if that's what the idea is to move new tanks and things here, he is concerned that that will only add to what the problem already is now. ¿Algo más?
No, pues nada más eso.
Okay. ¿Tiene preguntas de la comisión o algo?
No, pues no, pues,
Okay.
pues,
Okay.
yo sé que pues de nadie yo creo vino
Nomás usted.
para apoyar este caso,
Sí.
¿verdad? Y yo sé que lo que hagan ustedes, pues yo no mi voto no va a valer, ¿verdad? Pero yo nomás, yo no estoy de acuerdo.
Sí.
Y si van a hacer eso mismo, esos tanques más hacia acá, pues pues no se me hace muy bien.
Okay. He's expressing simply that, he didn't see too many people here in favor or against, but his main concern is just that, is that if there is more construction and more tanks being added to that property, it's going to maybe add to the noise and everything else that is happening already at the plant.
Otra cosa, pues allá de aquel lado de los tanques hay más terreno, podrían hacerlo allá.
And he adds that there's more land on the other side of the
Amor
property.
al east.
East?
Al east,
To the east of the
yo he
property
visto
to where
más
they could expand
terreno
into that.
para que pudieran hacer eso, pero pues
I can answer that question, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
The reason they're buying it to the west is because of the tracks.
Okay.
The tracks are on the west side, and what they want to do, they want to build a tank between where they are right now and the tracks, a bigger tank, and then add another set of tracks for their private use on the west side of the existing tracks. In other words, your product, asphalt emulsion project will come in. They'll use their own new tracks on the west side to park and hold their emulsion tanks until they get it emptied into the new tanks that they're building.
La razón que escogieron ese lote es porque ahí están las vías del tren y es donde se les facilita a la compañía de vaciar y subir y bajar los materiales.
Sí, pero como le digo, volvamos a lo mismo, al acercar más tanques, estamos más en riesgo de respirar esos vapores que yo veo a diario, ¿sí sabe? Porque yo vivo ahí enfrente y tengo otra propiedad ahí en la esquina, o sea, tengo esa propiedad y otra. Tengo renteros también.
His main concern is the vapors, the smell, and he's not sure what that has as far as effects, secondary effects to health. I couldn't answer to that, but yes.
Commissioner, as far as that goes, you stated there is some vapors now. We can have a code enforcement look at that and see if there is a nuisance smell or a hazardous smell. I mean, that is asphalt emulsion. It's not gonna smell well, but it's no different than Artesia or Hobbs, where this the emulsion, the Navajo tank. But he does have the prerogative to complain, so we can have code enforcement look at it in those days that it does come up. I will express these concerns to Ergon as well.
Okay. Comenta el ingeniero Nehar que cuando usted nota olores o cosas de ese estilo, usted puede también hacer poner una queja en la ciudad y ellos pueden hacer una investigación a ver de qué se trata o por qué. Él dice también que se va a tomar la tarea de hablar con la compañía, la compañía Ergon, para ver qué respuesta tienen ellos al respecto.
Pero el punto es que ya estando más cerca puede que nos afecte.
Sí.
Ahorita está bien, ahorita está lejos, pero ya al pasarla de este lado de las vías, pues ya va a estar más cerca ese
Sí.
apeste. Entonces, ya sería demasiado tarde cuando ustedes ya hayan construido. Y ya qué me va a servir.
Cierto.
Lo único que demandar a la ciudad después, eso sería lo único.
He reiterates his same thing as he says, once it's closer, he says, where it's at now, noise, the smell, it's not that big of a deal. We've been there for a very long time. But his biggest fear is just that the closer he gets, the tanks and all that noise and everything, the more effects. If it's smelling now, and he says he didn't know he could go out and complain or something of that sort. But that's his biggest concern.
Louis, is there a state agency that has any oversight of anything like that with an asphalt plant or anything?
Well, the asphalt plant would fall under New Mexico environmental, but there are regulations and there are emission standards that they have to pass every year. So I'm sure they're gonna meet those, but we do have the plans under consideration right now. We can talk with the engineer and make sure that the emissions do meet New Mexico environmental standards. And again, if it's as far as the noise and issue, from what I can tell, the tank's going to be bigger than what they have now, but I don't see that it's going to grow that drastically big. It's just easier for them to bring in more tanks and hold them on that property than right now than they get 4 or 5 tanks at a time.
You might tell him about the state agency.
Hay una agencia del estado que ellos se encargan de monitorear lo que es los olores y todo lo que expulsa, ya sea vapores o humo de lo que sea, que cada año tienen que estar pasando los exámenes. Y realmente lo que sale siendo, lo que comenta el ingeniero la vez pasada, que no terminé de decirle, era de que es algo similar como la planta que está en Artesia o algo así, obviamente en una escala mucho más pequeña.
Sí.
Pero de ahí en adelante, pues es toda la información de lo que yo le pueda compartir ahí. ¿Algo más que quiera que le comente a la comisión?
No, pues yo como le digo, yo vengo a decir esto por lo mismo, porque a mí sí me interesa mirar el béis, por lo menos ahí donde vivo yo, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
De que esté, pues bien, pues, arreglado, bonito, ¿verdad? Por eso, y estando eso cerca, pero pues si van a estar monitoreando eso, gases, los
No
vapores,
sé, no sé si entendió lo que estaban comentando ahorita, antes también, de que parte del contrato, de lo que tienen el contrato para renovar esa propiedad es de que, que se mire bien, que con árboles, con zacate y todo eso, que no parezca una planta industrial. No sé si escuchó eso en la primera conversación, pero esa es parte del trato que está haciendo la ciudad con la compañía que quiere arreglar ahí. No sé si eso le ayuda o lo pone un poquito más en
no, pues
relajado.
sí estaría bien que pusieran ahí árboles de perdido para que no se mire tanto, ¿eh?
Sí, eso es parte del contrato que sí está puesto también. I translated also for him the fact that there would be greenery, trees, and things like that as part of the contract. And this is the city with Ergon. Is that what the contract that we have here in front of us?
Yes,
Okay.
you have the contract right in front of you.
Okay. Sí, eso es parte del contrato que la ciudad hizo como parte de la venta a la compañía que está ahí ahorita.
No, pues nomás ojalá y si hagan eso de que estén monitoreando cada año eso,
Okay.
de que pase el test, de que no nos vaya a afectar especialmente a los niños,
Ujú.
porque pues ya ve que ahí también está el parque,
Sí,
a un lado. Por eso.
está bien. He says that's once again his major concern. It's
And
just that, the
Commissioner
smell.
also advised him that they're going to have trees on the north side as well.
Y al norte también, directo al norte también van a poner árboles y zacate y todo eso. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Gracias.
I actually had a question. Since you guys were talking about how you were gonna put trees and landscaping, would it be that everything new that you're constructing, it's not gonna be right on the road on G Street?
Ma'am, would you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Oh, I'm his daughter. My name is Brisa Lopez. So same address, 47 East Wall Street.
Okay, thank you. Louis?
Yes, the landscaping will be within the property, not on the road. It will be within the property, serving as a fence. So it'll be on the property line towards inwards, away from the road. It will not be on the road.
Okay, so everything new that you're constructing is not gonna be directly like on the road right next to the residential area?
That's, well, correct. The landscaping is going to be in lieu of a fence. So instead of a fence, we're going to have the line of trees, but it will be on the property line or just close to the property line, but on the inside, on the private side, not on the public right-of-way side.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions from anybody from the commission? Anybody else in the audience wishing to speak against case number 20 dash, whatever it is? 015? Last chance. Anybody else to speak against? Being none, commissioners, any questions of staff or Meredith, would you like to say something?
Planning and zoning staff is supportive of this change of zoning from R3 to I2.
Meredith, is this, I thought I read somewhere, has this been considered in the master plan or something, that this is a possibility for this zoning?
The entire air center and surrounding areas zone is, the master plan shows it as I2, industrial.
Okay, Louis, you got anything to add?
Nothing to add. I do, on the city engineer side, I mean, my main concern was the road, where we're taking out railroad and wells, but we are putting in a new access road that will feed the paper plant over there. As far as the concerns of the residences, the noise and the odors are duly noted, and as far as my duties, we will keep an eye on that and make sure that Ergon's aware of that as well.
Thank you. Commission. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. How far are these tanks going to be away from the residential area, from the houses and the?
Okay, so you see where the railroad tracks are right now?
Yes.
Okay, the new tank's gonna go between the railroad tracks and the existing facility. So it's gonna be on the east side of the tracks. On the west side, there'll be a new track, but as I understand, the track will just be to hold the cars, the railroad cars. So they'll come in, they'll move out as they empty them, but basically they're gonna be stationary, just using that extra set of tracks there for their storage space, so to speak.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Chair Story, Commissioners, if you look at page 10, the Google Earth aerial, it shows where the proposed area for the tank is between the two tracks. It's not on the property under consideration. The property for the tank is already zoned I2.
So basically what they want this property for then is their spur, and storage spur.
Yeah, just, as I understand, just for more storage equipment, because all the accessories, all the expansion of the tanks and the production is gonna stay close to the plumbing and piping that they have now.
You good, Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Okay, I'd entertain a motion for case number 20-015, which probably should contain some reference to the landscaping that is being proposed in the contract agreement.
I make a motion to approve case number 20-015, along with the land use and zoning considerations, finding of the facts, staff recommendations, and testimony we have received, to specifically include the landscaping notation within the contract with Oregon.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All
It's going
those
to be a
opposed?
roll call, I think.
Do what?
I believe it's a roll call, Meredith. That's what she had mentioned.
Roll call vote.
Oh,
Okay. We have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McCornack,
Yes.
Commissioner Aguilar,
Yes.
Commissioner Lassard,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
yes.
Chair Story.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
The motion passes, the case passes. I guess if it can be appealed, please explain, Saul, to them about the appeal process.
El caso sí pasó. Tiene, how many days? From here to Thursday.
By noon, in writing to the city clerk.
Puede apelar la decisión de aquí al jueves, no más tarde de las 12 de mediodía. Puede apelar la decisión y de ahí se la llevan al buffet de los consejeros de la ciudad. It goes to city council, correct? If it is appealed. Okay.
Yes.
De ahí va al condado, a la ciudad de Roswell, al city council. Pero tiene el derecho de apelar la decisión de todos modos, pero no más tarde del jueves a las 12. Okay.
Tell them to come in and see Meredith or Miguel, and they'll help them.
Cualquiera de los que están aquí trabajando, Meredith o Miguel, ¿dónde están? Ellos les pueden ayudar con el proceso, si es necesario. Ok, gracias.
Give them a minute. And those of you in the audience that were here specifically for case 20-015, feel free to exit if you would like. Or you're welcome to stay and listen to the next case.
¿Gustan esperar o como gusten también se pueden ir? Okay. Gracias. Pasen buena noche.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
You too. Okay. Next on our agenda is a case number 20-016, which is a request for a variance to the height of a residential structure in the R1 PUD La Sierra Townhomes replat. Take a motion to waive the reading of the findings of facts and land use and zoning considerations.
To motion to waive the reading of the finding of facts with respect to case number 20-016.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to waive the reading of the finding of facts and the land use and zoning considerations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There is one point that we'd like to point out, that in our little sheet here that we have as to case number 20-015 left out reading of the finding of facts of the land and the land use and zoning considerations. So we need to make sure, you know, if we're going to follow this, that it's got everything we're supposed to say. Just giving you a hard time, Meredith. Okay, let's see here now. After that, let's see here. We're passed on the lat. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of 20-016? Is there anybody online wishing to speak in favor of 20-016?
Hello.
Hello, please state your name and address, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Salman Sheikh. I'm the property owner at the 20 Jack McClellan Drive. We are requesting for the variance for this application it's going to be a residential structure. So we would like to ask for the approval for the pitch of the hip of the roof needs to go above 35 feet because of the layout of the floor plan and the layout of the inside of the house. The roof has to be higher as our floor plan is being done. So I would like to request for the approval for the variance. If you guys have any question, I'm more than happy to answer.
Any question from the commissioners? Being none, thank you, sir. Or with anybody else wishing to speak in favor of case number 20-016? Miguel, you're the only one in the audience. You want to speak one way or the other? Okay, thank you. Being none in favor, anybody wishing to speak against case number 20-016? Anybody online against case 20-016? Okay, being none. Meredith, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Chair Story. Commissioners, this is a variance request for 3 feet of height above 35 feet to a total of 38 feet for a residential structure. That way the roof pitch can be a little higher, and this is going to be a 2-story residential structure. It's on a large lot. It only had 4 addresses in the contact area, which was the NIMI, New Mexico Military Institute golf course, and the church behind it. And then the other properties are owned by the homeowners association still. And I did contact the homeowners association. Mr. McClellan was supportive of the variance, and the fire marshal was also supportive of the variance, and his email is included in the case.
Louis, you got anything?
Not on this one. Doesn't really pertain to engineering.
Yeah, when did this subdivision go in? It's been 15 years or so, and so it's good to see a little bit of development go out there. I mean, they built the initial 2 large duplexes maybe or something, or 4plexes or whatever they are for Miss McClellan, I remember, and then nothing. So I can understand why the homeowners association is for it. Yeah. Any questions, Commission? Being none, I accept a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve case number 20-016 with the land use and zoning considerations, findings of facts, staff recommendations, and testimony we received today.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Being none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner McCornack,
Yes.
Commissioner Aguilar,
Yes.
Commissioner Lassard,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Chair Story.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. The case 20-016 variance has been approved by the commission. We move on to other business, which is the 2021 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting schedule. Has anybody had a chance to look or bothered to look or seen any conflicts that we need to address now?
I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Hopefully we'll all be here and we won't be masked up for the majority of these meetings. Meredith, does that need any action, or is it just information for us?
It's an item for discussion if you have any questions or considerations, but otherwise it does not require an action from you.
Okay. Any public comments? Miguel, you're the only one out there again. You want to say anything?
Joke.
Anybody online with a public comment? Oh, here comes Miguel.
You called me twice, so I guess
Yeah,
I'll
might
come
as
up
well
and say
show
something.
up, huh?
Name and address?
Just wanted to wish you guys happy holidays. Hope you stay safe, and hope to see you all next year in good health.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you.
Back at you. Any other public comments? Any reports or announcements from staff or the commission would like to bring up?
We'll probably be
Anybody?
using this setup for about 2 or 3 months.
Do what, Louis?
We'll probably be using this setup for a couple of months, at
Yeah,
least.
no, I think it's good. I mean, I don't have any problem with it. It's not any different. It's actually
Well,
it's
the
more
dais
comfortable.
is gonna go through some changes.
It's actually more comfortable and you can see better. These guys that are, James doesn't have any trouble seeing over that monitor, but some of us have a little trouble seeing over that monitor up there. And time is 6:41, 6:42.